Hello there. Sorry it's been a bit of a gap since the last video. Not as big as some of the other gaps have been, but longer than they've been for the last few weeks. Not much has happened this week at all because I've been ill in bed with a stinking cold. So I've barely left the house all week. I've not been to the gym since the last video. And all I've really done is buy games on eBay and Vinted. I took my daughter out on Sunday along with my mother, who is now seemingly getting a mention every video. Bought myself a few games there, but other than that, all I've done is today I went out and I had lunch at Cosmo in Norwich with some people that I used to work with, and I've eaten about 3/4 of my body weight in sweet and sour chicken. So I am really quite uncomfortably full, and just need an early night, to be honest. But I thought I'd do a quick video today just because it's not going to be a pickups video. I'm saving up them because I've got a couple of things on the way, and also tomorrow I'm going on a road trip with my eldest son Christian, who's 12, and we're going to go to southwest of Birmingham because I've been told by someone on Instagram that there's within 3 towns there's a cluster of about 5 retro game shops. So I'm going to be going there, and then we're going to stay over, and I'm going to take him for a surprise on the Friday. But I'm not going to say on this video what the surprise is because occasionally he watches what I put on YouTube, and I don't want him to know until we're on our way. But I've pretty much given away now that I've got a surprise lined up for him. Anyway, so what I've decided to do in the meantime is I've mentioned many times before that I've completed my childhood Master System collection, and I've been dithering and deciding for a while whether to increase the Master System collection or whether to just keep it as my childhood collection. I've decided to expand it because I'm a collector, it's what we do, and it's Sega, which is what I love. So I'm going to start increasing the amount for the Master System as well. But I thought I would just run through what I've already got for the Master System and just talk about them for a bit. So if you're after pickups, sorry, it's not the video for you. So if we take ourselves back to 1994, 9-year-old Tom had moved into a new house with his mum and sister. Mum had a new boyfriend by that point, I think, who I thought was the coolest person in the world because he was about 10 years older than me, and he could record The Simpsons off Sky for me every week, and he also was really good at drawing Beano characters. So that was the best thing in the world. But I hadn't ever had my own games console. The closest thing to a games console I'd ever had before was I had an Acorn Electron in our previous house that we used to play Frogger on. And my only other experience of gaming was playing on my uncle's Atari ST, which was where my introduction to things like Monkey Island, Bubble Bobble, and things like that came from. So there's 9-year-old me. The coolest things in the world are Sonic the Hedgehog and Bart Simpson. And I knew quite a while before Christmas that I was going to be getting a Master System for Christmas, mainly because between my mum buying it and me getting it, it lived in my uncle's bedroom for at least a month, and I would go and play on it after school. And so there was one game down here that I know I definitely played at that point, and I'd seen him playing on Sonic the Hedgehog, and I had no idea where Sonic the Hedgehog was. And it wasn't until I actually got the console that I found out that Sonic was built into it. Unfortunately, the Master System that I have now has Alex Kidd built into it. So one of the first games I bought to go with it was Sonic the Hedgehog. So before the Mega Drive version was ever played by me, this was my experience of it, and just I loved, even though the Master System isn't that quick, to me Sonic was lightning fast, and it's so similar to the Game Gear version which I'd played before, and just being able to play Sonic the Hedgehog on my own was best thing in the world. So the natural game to get after Sonic the Hedgehog, given how much I enjoyed it, was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I don't think you got to play as Tails in this one. No, because you had to race to save Tails in this one. But after the first world, there was a level where you started off by getting Sonic to fly a hang glider, and just the idea of being able to fly or even use some form of vehicle in game, that just blew my mind. So that was another one that I got very early on. I'm rattling through these because it's not a very big collection. Oh well. The first one that I remember going into a game shop and actually asking for and getting, because I was 9 or 10, I asked for a lot of things, was Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, which, again, as regular viewers of my channel will know, I love cartoon character based platformers. So these are all kind of character building memories. I can't think of the right word, but the thing I liked about this one was, rather than like Sonic, you having just the bounce on attack, suddenly I was playing a game where you had your jump, but you had to then press another button to do like his bum bounce attack. And I just remember there was a particular level. Oh, there's a picture of it in on the back of the box. There was a boss that was a grandfather clock, and that was an absolute bastard to try and beat, because it just moved around so much and it just really wound me up. However, it didn't wind me up enough to get banned from playing games, which was something that came in the future when we had a Mega Drive. And I went absolutely mental when I failed on the last level of this, and my mum actually stopped me from being allowed to play games for a while, because she's just nasty to me. She's really mean and horrible and doesn't care about me. The next game that I've got in this collection is one that I don't specifically remember having as a child, because I don't remember playing it much, but I know that I had it. And that is The Lucky Dime Caper, starring Donald Duck. I can't talk about any memories that I have of this game at all, despite the fact that I know full well that I had it. Last year, I had first visitor to the collection to come and play games, and his first system was also the Master System. And the real game that he remembers, and most people that I speak to about Master System always say, it was Lucky Dime Caper. That was like the game that everyone had. And I don't remember playing it at all. But I made sure I got that very early on in building up this Master System collection. So around 1994 to early 1995, I had no real knowledge of football whatsoever. Didn't really get into football until someone who bullied me at school started everyone playing football. Yet I always ended up in goal, which actually did end up lasting me quite a while, until I broke my wrist in my early 20s, and now I've completely cocked up that finger, so I can't play in goal anymore. But that's another sob story for another day. But the first football game that most people I know played was something like Sensible Soccer. Mine came on Master Games 1 for the Master System, which was also probably my first racing game and my first Match 3 game. But World Soccer is probably the most basic football game ever. I think there's 8 international teams on it, and you literally have pass, lofted pass, shoot, slide tackle. Those are the only options you've got. But I remember spending hours and hours playing on it, and I don't think I ever beat Brazil. They were a proper bogey team for me, just like they have been for many, many people and many, many teams in real life for years, until the last decade or two, which is a bit weird, but we'll see what happens with World Soccer going on from there. Oh, I went straight into soccer. I wonder if anyone will criticise me for saying that rather than football. So the next game that I had was, I went back in the direction of Sonic, but this time it was with Sonic Chaos, which was the first time I ever experienced playing a Sonic game as Tails. Now, with all of these games that I'm showing you today, I have never completed any of them. They were games that I played solidly for months and months and months. But as I've said, and as you will see when I start doing more streams and gameplay, I am genuinely awful at playing games. I can collect games very, very well. I'm very good at spending money, but completing games isn't my thing. And looking at the back of the box, I don't remember a huge amount of this one. I remember the springs being a weird shape. That's one thing that did stick in my mind. And were you able to do the spin dash move on this? I'm going to have to play it again later on just to find out, just to make sure that I've remembered that correctly or not. So now we get on to my three bigger hitters from the Master System. And a lot of the games that I had weren't necessarily the ones that I'd asked for. They were just ones that would suddenly appear in the living room. So whether that was that someone had given it to my mum for us to have, or whether my stepdad had bought it, who knows. But I had Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I played a bit of this, 2 or 3 months ago? Not long after I bought this copy of it. And it is fairly functional 2D platformer, and you've got a single attack, which is like swiping a sword type thing like that, and you pick up things to throw like axes. And I remembered exactly how to do the first boss of the game, just like that. And even though I didn't know the source material at all, because how many 9-year-olds watched Bram Stoker's Dracula? I certainly didn't. Although it was that first film that when I watched, I felt like a grown-up. It felt like a proper grown-ups movie. And that was probably my first proper action-adventure game. And it was so much fun playing, even though I probably never got much further than the second boss. But now we come to my two favourite games on the Master System. I picked up one of these for the Atari ST last week, and that is Rainbow Islands. And if you've not played it, it's really one that you should. I didn't actually know at the time that it was the sequel to Bubble Bobble, but just the whole mechanic of shooting out rainbows to use them as platforms to get higher, and also trap enemies underneath to kill them. That's just such a good mechanic, and so simple. And also just little things like how, as you go up the level, the water level rises. So if you miss a platform, you die straight away, and you lose all your power-ups. And it's really annoying when you manage to get yourself things like the double rainbows, and you just lose that just as you're in the middle of doing a boss. But it's one of my favourite games from that time period, and it's just it's just a perfect little platformer. But finally, we come across one particular game which is probably my favourite racing game of all time. My favourite kart racer is Diddy Kong Racing. That wipes the floor with Mario Kart. I enjoy like Forza Horizon. I don't enjoy the proper Forza games or the proper Gran Turismos. There's too many variables for me, and I just don't get it. But this is such a simple and basic racing game. It's just absolutely perfect. When I was in Retro Gamer last year, it was you have to pick out like 4 things from your collection that are what you regard as the jewels of your collection, and this is one of the ones that I picked as that, and that is Super Off-Road, which again, I think last week I picked that up for the Mega Drive. I've not played the Mega Drive version at all yet, but it's so simple. I'll see if it will focus again. Literally every track is just covered on a single screen, and you've got accelerate, you've got nitrous oxide, and that's it. And you steer it as if you're in the car rather than based on where you are on the screen. And they're just simple, I think they're 4-lap races, 4 cars, and I can just play this game for hours. It's so much fun and so simple, and it also brings back just so much don't like using the word nostalgia, but it really is a proper nostalgic game for me. And it was bloody expensive to buy it again, but it is in absolutely gorgeous condition, and it's one of the few that I've got that has a protector for the instruction manual. And I think if you were to say I had to choose just 10 games from the collection that I could keep and everything else had to go, this is one of the ones that I would 100% be keeping, because it is just a perfect little racing game. But that is my whole childhood Master System collection. So that is ultimately the whole video this week. So I am going to start picking up more for the Master System. If you've got any recommendations for games that I should be picking up, given that I don't have much knowledge of what's on Master System, especially not compared to the Mega Drive, but I want to build up this bookcase of Sega behind me, and then hopefully expand that onto that one, because yes, I like the PS3 and 360 being there, but the more Sega I have, the better. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me on a little journey of my childhood. Yeah, thank you for watching. Next time I come out with a video, it will be much more pickups based. I have a big stack of pickups already, which hopefully will get a lot bigger over the next few days. And I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.